If you think about Christmas, you're probably dreaming of white blankets of snow, fresh powder, sledging, snowmen, and maybe even snow angels.
I love it. I want a white Christmas every year.
Every year I say a little prayer for snow, and I always think it's going to happen.
The reality when it does happen, though, can be a little different.
We don't have the equipment, the infrastructure there to cope with it, and so the UK grinds to a halt very quickly.
We yearn for snow, and then when we get it, we absolutely hate it. That's very much in keeping with our national psyche.
But when was the last time you actually had a white Christmas?
It almost is like a dream now. It's the kind of thing you have to tell your kids, honestly, that did happen once, you know.
Is snow at Christmas just a Hollywood fantasy? Or is there a chance your festive dreams could come true this season?
It's the romance that I love. And if we got a white Christmas this year, I would, for one, not be complaining.
First things first, what exactly is a white Christmas, officially? As you'd expect, the Met Office has it covered in a way that works for the whole country-ish.
All it would take is for just one single snowflake to fall at any one of their hundreds of observing stations around the UK, or some specially designated sites such as Buckingham Palace, Coronation Street in Manchester, or Pittodrie Stadium in Aberdeen. One flake of snow though, yes, technically white Christmas, but I think for many of us it would leave us distinctly disappointed.
3, 2, 1.
Disappointed is the word. And we've only had 4 times in the last 6 decades of picture-perfect snow coverage across most of the country on Christmas Day. So where does the idea come from then?
Maybe it's Christmas Carol. Maybe it's Scrooge leaning out the window. And, hi, boy!
Hello, you there, boy!
Me, sir?
Yes, you, my good fellow. What day is today?
Today? Why, it's Christmas Day, of course.
It's Dickens.
We love Dickens.
Between the Middle Ages, the medieval period, and the middle of the 19th century, there was what could be called a little ice age. Simply, it was colder at that time, so in the middle of December, there was snow.
The winters were extremely severe, such that actually the Thames froze. So there were fairs on the Thames, on the frozen river. There were tents erected. There was like a Christmas market and a Christmas fair. There was a spectacle of walking elephants across the frozen Thames.
The Christmas and snow and all of those concepts are so rooted in our sort of Victorian sense of what we should be.
Yes, the Yuletide season is here. In London and throughout the country, the streets are crowded with shoppers.
This is a festival of nostalgia, of looking back. And in the early 20th century, people are saying it doesn't snow as much at Christmas time as it used to. And that was true, but it fitted into the general ethos of the Christmas festival, that this was a time when people had a sense of change, that the world was changing, that people's individual lives were changing.
With the whole Commonwealth of English-speaking nations listening to the speech of His Majesty the King.
The year that is passing, the 25th since my accession, has been to me most memorable.
In the 20th century, our relationship with winter changed. Our housing became better quality, better insulated, fuel was cheaper. Winter wasn't dangerous anymore for the vast majority of people, and that meant it was easier to enjoy the cold, to enjoy the snow.
For winter sports enthusiasts, that journey to Switzerland isn't really necessary. Hampstead Heath providing a local Cresta run.
So we could enjoy the idea of a white Christmas without being threatened by it, and that's really key to why it's something that we celebrate and we look forward to.
This Christmas, there's a bumper package from BBC One.
Filmmakers quickly caught on, making the white stuff an almost mandatory feature in movies or Christmas specials.
Oh, isn't it beautiful?
It wasn't really until we saw films kick in that we had this almost idealised form of what a white Christmas should be. A lot of that was because those films were often based in the US, where white Christmases are far more common they are here, and I think as Brits we really bought into it and just desired that really special, almost chocolate box looking idea of what Christmas Day should be.
Do you know, there's a company in the south of England that makes snow for movies. I've been lucky enough to go there and to be in an area that's covered in snow, whereas everywhere else is nice and green.
A lot of what governs our behaviour, our memories and thoughts is Hollywood. And it's that thing that someone just synced up snow and Christmas in movies. The most famous example being that awful one. What's that garbage? It's a Wonderful Life. I can't stand it. I know I'm not allowed to say that.
Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas, George! Merry Christmas, George!
And big name brands are more than happy to lean into that idea.
Whether it's Coca-Cola, whether it's chocolate brands, whether it's other brands advertising, very often you see the product placed in the snow.
He nicked my iron bro and let go of my hand.
If it's a Christmas advert, I want to see snow, I want to see a child full of wonder, I want to see a roaring fire, preferably a dog. Those are the elements that I want in my Christmas advert.
But fantasy aside, the reality for most people is that Christmas rarely has any snow.
Statistically, it's not likely to have a white Christmas. In fact, you get more days of snow in March than you do in December. So really, statistically, it's more likely if Easter falls in March to get a white Easter than it is to get a white Christmas Day.
Most people would think a white Christmas is when you look out your window and you see lots of snow falling, and maybe you've got lying snow as well. Lying snow, especially widespread lying snow, is much rarer on Christmas Day than perhaps you would expect. And in fact, the last time we had that was in 2010.
Good morning. Welcome to Breakfast from BBC News with Bill Turnbull. We're on course for the coldest December on record, and today sees the lowest temperatures yet for many parts of the UK, with minus 18 overnight.
Oh golly, walking out first thing in the morning, the snow was quite deep. I was the first person on it. It was crisp as you walked in it, and it just made me feel so happy.
The next door neighbours were the three boys, and they had a snowball fight, and their mum came out and she threw this snowball, and we just walked out. It went over the fence and hit my daughter in the face, and she was like, she thought she'd fallen at the Battle of Hastings. It was that big. It was a massive crisis.
Around 80% or more of the country had snowfall on Christmas morning, which for Christmas morning is magical because many people don't have to go anywhere. You can get to enjoy it. But it followed one of the coldest starts to winter in around 100 years.
People in the West Midlands may want to put off the post-Christmas lunch walk as temperatures are expected to reach minus 20 Celsius.
We were meant to go away for our 1-year anniversary and we couldn't because it was snowing and we were snowed in all Christmas. So I remember, luckily, only after a year of marriage we were snowed in together for Christmas, because I think after more years of marriage you would enjoy that less.
The economy took a massive hit. It was the lead up to Christmas. We had shops which couldn't open, people can get to the shops, and people weren't able to do the usual socialising, so restaurants and that whole sector suffered immensely. We just love it, but hate it, I think, in equal measure.
It's not really good. I mean, it's pretty to look at, fun for the children, but in other ways, it's a blimmin' nuisance.
Every time we get a drop of snow, everything grinds to a halt. We're not prepared for it or not prepared to do anything about it.
I always remember when I was a kid, they said a white Christmas was officially a white Christmas if a flake of snow fell at Charing Cross Station. And I always used to think that's such a weird thing, why Charing Cross Station? But I guess it's because the minute one flake of snow falls at a station is when the entire infrastructure crashes. So that's how they knew that single snowflake was going to bring us to our knees.
So what actually needs to happen then, scientifically, for us to get that white Christmas?
Now the UK is in a battle zone between cold air coming down from the north and warmer air coming up from the south, and that can have an impact. So the highest chance you have of seeing White Christmas is always going to be the further north that you are and the higher up from sea level that you are.
Areas most likely to see snow at Christmas are places like northern Scotland, Northern Ireland, and the bits of England and Wales that stick out in a northerly wind. Temperatures don't really have to fall below freezing. Just a few degrees above can be enough because the air above us can be cold enough to hold snow showers, and that snow, as it's falling, can take a while to melt. So even if we've got temperatures around 2 or 3 degrees, if it's snowing heavily enough, that snow can reach the ground and even give a covering. For blizzards, you just need strong winds. But if you get a weather front coming in with lots of snow and strong winds, more of us will see the blizzards. All you need are wind speeds of above around 40 miles an hour. And then that is when a blizzard becomes official.
When a blizzard hits, it's best to stay inside if possible.
Carol, how is it?
Freezing.
It's freezing and it's cold and it's wet. But apart from that, it's pretty nice actually. Thanks, Dermot, for asking.
We were in already quite deep snow and we could see it coming.
We've seen millions of snowplows going out this morning, really trying to keep the roads open because, of course, with this bad weather, a lot of the roads in parts of Scotland, for example, are impassable.
So the producer, bless his heart, went down on his hunkers, held onto my legs, and I was blowing with the wind because it was really strong and the snow was hitting my face. I was really well wrapped up, but like pins and needles digging into your skin, and it was so cold that my voice started to slow down like that, more like a Dalek kind of thing.
Temperatures start to pick up in the west as more cloud and some rain come in, and for most of us it will be a dry night away from the northeast of Scotland, where we'll continue with blizzard conditions.
And then I heard in my earpiece, "This is great telly, you've got another minute," which was the last thing I wanted. And so we were broadcasting right through that blizzard and then went into the satellite truck to defrost.
That's it from the Glenshane Pass for now. Back to both of you in the studio.
Well done, Carol, and the lips didn't freeze up
Not
once.
quite.
Go and
Next
thaw them
time,
out
maybe.
A nightmare for Carol, but there are plenty of good memories of White Christmases past.
This is the amazing memory I have, is myself, my dad, my mum, my brother, my sister, so the 5 of us walked to church on Christmas Day down the middle of the road because there were no cars there, horses, and we walked in the snow to church down the middle of the road.
I lived in suburban London where we didn't really have hills, so if it snowed you would just basically sit on a tea tray in the park waiting for someone to push you and it was either sitting completely motionless because you couldn't find a hill, or a massive hill, and then you would lose teeth and experience concussion because there was no happy medium.
I remember going out, the excitement of watching these big fat snowflakes fall on the ground and then getting our sledges. And because there were so many of us, we didn't have enough sledges to go around. So we would sledge on trays going down the brae. Oh, it was magical.
But none of our contributors were even alive when the biggest dump of snow on record hit the UK.
The winter of 1947 will be talked about for decades, unless, heaven forbid, we get another equally bad winter before our troubles subside.
The deepest snowfall we've ever recorded in the UK, I believe, was in 1947. It was in North Wales. 1.65 metres worth of snow. So 1 metre, 65 centimetres. That is a lot of snow. If I was to be in it, I'd be gone. You wouldn't see me for days on end.
What with gas and electricity cuts, plus the Arctic weather, the country certainly has been going through a bad time.
Cut to today, and it's hard to ignore the elephant in the room: global warming.
The general trend with our climate changing is that we would probably expect to see fewer instances of snow falling here in the UK, less of it lying as well, and when it does lie, it will lie for shorter amounts of time.
But the other thing as well, if you look at the contrast in temperatures north to south, London, a heat island, is always going to be warmer than it is, for example, in Inverness. So you might get a shed load of snow for the north and nothing for the south.
So, with the future looking uncertain, to say the least, is it time to think about ways to increase the likelihood of a snowy Christmas day?
The thing about December the 25th is it's just a date of convenience. It's nothing to do with the Bible story as I understand it. That Christ wasn't born then, that the Christmas day wasn't devised until centuries later. So my idea is we should scrap December the 25th and we move Christmas to the date where we've got the most chance of snow.
I heard a theory from Jeremy Vine recently that we should move Christmas, and I think that's a great idea. I think that, yeah, we should have Christmas whenever it snows. Because sometimes now we get snow like in March and you've just put your winter clothes away and then you have to get them all out again, or you have to go out into the snow in flip-flops and shorts.
Interesting idea. I wonder what our weather experts make of it.
I don't think moving Christmas just to catch snow on Christmas Day will make much of a difference. As far as the statistics are concerned, you have to move it way to the end of January, and even then, still to get snowfall on that one special day is a big ask.
I still keep my hopes alive for a white Christmas. I love a white Christmas, but I think I might have to go somewhere else, maybe Norway.